I am as liable to change as anyone else. I am as liable to be hit by FOMO in the homeschooling world and see something bright, new, and shiny and want to try it as the rest of you are. Hey guys, welcome. Thanks for joining me. So, I am a young homeschooling mom to 3 kids. I will have an upcoming first grader this year, an upcoming kindergartner, and a toddler. I'm also a homeschool graduate, and I have had lots of fun and some challenges learning how to teach versus be the student. So, this channel is my outlet for everything homeschool, everything I've researched, everything I'm doing, just kind of sharing with you. I'm not necessarily the expert, but this is our homeschool. And so that's what this channel is all about. If you enjoy this kind of thing, please like this video, subscribe. It helps the channel out a whole lot. Okay, so today is about things I've changed within our curriculum picks. If you haven't seen those videos, I will link them all below. I have shared what we're doing for my first grader, for my kindergartner, for our family subjects, and then for like our extracurricular-esque subjects. So I'll link all those below if you're interested. But honestly, I am as liable to change as anyone else. I am as liable to be hit by FOMO in the homeschooling world and see something bright, new, and shiny and want to try it as the rest of you are. So, here are some things that we are adjusting in our curriculum picks. Now, I'm not adjusting anything huge. Our core subjects are staying the same. So, I'm not like completely throwing you guys for a loop with what I said I was going to do. These are more some things I'm adding in, and then a few things that I've simplified, but nothing huge or major. So those old curriculum pick videos are still pretty accurate. I haven't like done a huge shift of our school, but I thought I would still update you on the few things that we're adding in or simplifying before we jump into the school year. A few of these things, if you watch my last video, you may have seen them. I did a video sharing my curriculum hauls, both from our curriculum sales and then a few things I gotten off Facebook Marketplace and otherwise. And a few of these things were in that video. So if you saw that, you got a sneak peek. But to jump in, and I have some notes to remind myself of the thing we've changed. Okay, so one of the things that I've added in for my first grader with her language arts. Everything that I said about her language arts is remaining the same, but I'm going to make one add, and that is explode the code. And I'm going to focus on books 4. This is the teacher's manual for 3 and 4, but I'm going to focus on books 4 and 4.5. I'm not showing you the workbook. I'm showing you the teacher's manual because I have already torn up my workbooks. But the reason we're going for 4 and 4.5 specifically is these are the ones that focus on syllables and the breakdown of syllables and how different ways syllables make like the vowel pronunciation depending on where it's broken. So I think that's the big area that my daughter, in all of her reading, all of her phonics, that she could still use work on is still that one. I think that's one that's more of a challenge for readers of anything, is figuring out where those are for words that you don't recognize. So we're going to be adding this in just as a little bit of reinforcement on that concept. Otherwise, her language arts should be staying pretty much the same. Okay, another thing we're going to add in, and this is to our history. Again, we're going to keep history how we had it. I have created my own teacher's manual. I have activity guide, whatever you want to call it. I've done a lot of work on a history this year. If you're interested in seeing that, I did a video showing all inside of that, and I will link it for you. But we are going to be adding in one more thing to that, and that is I picked up this history pockets, ancient civilizations. So this doesn't change what we're doing, but this is a few more hands-on ideas of 4 things we can add into our lessons. Along with what I've already done. So we're going to be trying to incorporate this as it works. I'm not going to force anything, but I think that will be a fun thing for my kids. Okay, another thing that, again, this isn't really a change so much as in my extracurricular pick video, I believe, I said that I was going to do some sort of safety stuff with my kids, whether that was picture books or whatever on water safety, fire safety, people safety. And I do still plan to do some of those picture books. I'll just get things from the library for fire safety, water safety. But one resource that I did find that I want to pull in for like stranger danger, kids safety kind of thing, is a resource called Kid Smarts. I'll try to put a picture up here for you. Kid Smarts, I think, and it's free, and it's a little course for K through 2 on kind of these topics. And so I've downloaded it, and I'm going to use that as a resource for probably 1/4 of our year. I'll make that kind of our focus. And then the other quarters, I'll focus on other subjects. But I'm going to be using this resource kind of, I don't know if I'll do it exactly as written or not. We'll kind of see how it goes, but it's what I'm going to kind of be pulling from and using as our source for that. So we've added that in. And then the other thing that we have added to our school is some habit training or character training. We are going to be pulling in laying down the rails. And I have the laying down the rails and I have laying down the rails for children. And I've seen several other YouTubers using this, and again, like I said, FOMO can get me, but I did do a ton of research on this before I bought it. I did not just go buy it. I did a lot of research. I downloaded the samples. I looked at a lot of people, and I thought this would actually be a really good addition to my kids' homeschool year. Even not just homeschooling. Habit and character training is something that I want to focus on, and it's a challenge with young children to know how to address some of those things. So I'm really hoping that this will give me about a jumping off point, a place to start. In fact, I guess a little bit of a cheat. We've started this already. I kind of wanted to start this in advance of our school year. And so since we just picked it up, I decided to start. And we're working on obedience, specifically to the spoken command. When I give a command, how do you obey that command? And our little mantra, which I don't remember where I picked up, is you obey all the way, right away, and with a happy heart. So you do it the whole way through, you do it instantly, and you do it with a good attitude. And so using kind of some conversation pieces in this. So this has some kind of discussion points for you as the teacher. And this has a little bit more like a lesson plan for you to use with kids. If you're interested in seeing inside these and knowing how we do it in the future, let me know below. I'm happy to share that a little bit more. But actually, just based on how my kids have responded just this week, because we've only just really been starting it, that's been great. I think that's actually going to work. It's going to be a good fit, a good tool for me as a parent in guiding them. So we've added that in. Okay, so those are the things that we've just added. And then I have two things that we've simplified from what I said. And these are really in our riches or the arts kind of areas. One is, I think I had said in my extracurricular videos that we were going to do like a riches tea time. So where we're going to rotate through poetry, music, art, hymns, yeah, all those things kind of through our tea time versus doing the same thing every week. We're going to do one week, one next. And that's still going to be the case. But the resource that I'm using for our composer and our art study has kind of changed. So first with the composer study, I was going to be following Ambleside Online's recommendation for composer studies, listening to the music they had, and kind of just doing that. And then I got a recommendation from one of you guys saying you had found a book that you really enjoyed using with your young kids. And my kids are still pretty young. And so I looked at it and I thought, you know what? That looks so much simpler than trying to do a composer study with my kids at this age. So we are going to be using my first classical music book, and we will do this over tea time, and we will just read through a little bit at a time, talking about the different instruments, talking about the orchestra, talking about different composers, listening to the music. I'm pretty sure there's actually a CD in here, but I think they also have links. Yeah, there's a CD, and then there's also like access codes, so you can go online and find the music online. So I do not remember which of you recommended it, but thank you. Feel free to comment below and point yourself out if you're watching this video, because I'd love to remember which one of you it was. But we're going to do this. I think this will just simplify it for me. It's one less thing that I have to think of how to do, and then I can just kind of pick up the book and do the next thing. And I think my kids will enjoy it. They like picture books. So I think this will be a good fit. So that's kind of one way we've simplified, at least in my mind. The other thing I've simplified is I've taken the art study out of that rotation for the poetry tea time. And instead of putting it in like that Rich's tea time, now the Rich's tea time is just going to be hymns, music, and poems. We're going to rotate through those. And our art is going to come from a different curriculum that I mentioned we were going to use. And that is exploring nature with children. Hopefully the glare on this isn't too bad. So we're going to be using this as kind of a nature study resource for myself. I'm going to really try to do nature study this year. It's not natural for me, but we're going to try to use this. And I had forgotten at the time when I did those videos that this book actually has links for art that go along with the different topics of nature study. So instead of pulling in a whole different loop of nature or art, I'm just going to do a picture study with my kids on the topic with the art that's recommended in this book. We'll pull up the pictures and we'll just have some conversations about it, chat about what they see, what it feels like. And we'll do picture study incorporated into our nature study. So I think that will simplify things as well. I'm not going to be using Ambleside Online's a resource for art study. Again, it's already laid out for me. I have the picture already here. It's in by week. I just have to do it. It's one less thing I have to think about, I guess. So we're going to be simplifying by using the pictures in here, not in our tea time, but just as part of our nature study in the week. Because during the week, I'm going to be reading like picture books that this recommends, as well as discussing kind of the topic. And then we'll do a nature walk and look for the things that we've talked about. And during that time of like picture books and discussion, I'll pull open the piece of art and try to do that. Okay, so those are my main like edits to our curriculum. Like I said, none of that's really core. Most of them are add-ins or simplifications. But before we jump into the school year and I start giving you updates on how all these things are going, and you see me pulling in things that you're like, I don't remember you saying that, or weren't you going to do that? I thought I would just give you an update. let you know how it's going, let you know kind of the changes we're making and why, so that as we jump into a new school year and I start giving you updates on how things are going, you are all caught up. So please comment below any questions you might have on any of this. If you want to see inside some of this, let me know. And I look forward to sharing with you guys again soon.